HRD in banks. When the Human Resource Development function was started in 1975, the State Bank of India and its associates were the first to accept and adopt the HRD as a function. In fact, the associates of State Bank of India immediately appointed HRD managers in the year 1975 itself. I remember from IIM conducting a series of workshops for the HRD chiefs of associate banks in the year 1976 and 77. And these were attended also by heads of training of all other banks like the Central Bank of India and so on. Sometime in 1978, State Bank of India appointed a very senior level person, Chief General Manager, Human Resource Development, and subsequently upgraded this to the level of a Deputy Managing Director in charge of Human Resource Development. Between 1978 and 1988, almost for about a decade, Human Resource Development function in State Bank of India and some of the associates was on the top priority list. And they have done a marvelous job. But unfortunately, late 80s, what happened was, because the HRD managers are transferable and technical people or any line managers can be posted to Human Resource Development Department, a large number of people trained in 1980s were shifted slowly and slowly back to the line positions. And as a result, by late 80s, HRD became another banking-like function to be dealt with. One big difference in other functions of banking and the HRD of banks is this. In other functions, you go very much by a rule book. You are highly risk averse and you take concrete decisions and you want to get the results at the end of every quarter, every month, every week, every day, every year and so on. Whereas human resource development deals with intangibles, creating a lasting culture, motivating people, getting them to be innovative. All these things can't be measured overnight. As a result, most of the HRD managers who joined HRD departments in late 80s and earlier 90s lacked the kind of socialization that people in late 70s and 80s got. So over a period of time, the entire human resource development function got diluted, and today human resource development function is only human resource administration function. People most of the time have been found to appoint consultants to review the performance management systems, to introduce something like any assessment and other kind of centers, and even to redesign anything that they wanted to have on employee motivation, competency mapping and things like that. All the work that is supposed to be done by HR people got delegated to consultants and some banks for specialists. Unfortunately, as a result, the appreciation for the human resource development, which we say as commitment building, culture building and competence building, has never got the attention it was due. If you ask me what is the kind of level of HR today in the banks, I would say very unfortunately not a very satisfactory level. This is one of the reasons why in Khandelwal Committee we all recommended that HR function should be given much higher importance than what it has been given, and professional people should be appointed. And not only that, I think the current HR people should be professionally trained and so on. So there is a whole chapter devoted in the Khandelwal Committee report for professionalizing HR in banking sector. And one of the suggestions that was made in this report is HR audit. The reason for suggesting this is HR audit is a good mechanism of drawing the attention of the board and the top level managers to what is happening which is good in the way in which the current HR is handled and what is not happening in the HR. So HR audit is supposed to be a kind of a HR improvement audit. It is, there is nothing to be afraid of. HR audit would normally examine the strengths and weaknesses of the way the current systems of HR, starting with manpower planning, recruitment, competency mapping, performance management, induction, training and development, career planning, succession planning, any employee engagement surveys and the way they are used, all these are working. Have they resulted in something? Are they aligned to the business strategy? Are they aligned to the kind of concerns the bank has and things like that? So the HR audit, which is done by a group of specialists who are well versed with HR functions and the way HR made a difference in some of the companies, will visit some of the maybe the branches, regions and zones, and also may conduct surveys and look at each one of the systems, interview some of the HR people, also interview some of the line managers and top level managers, and give their recommendations on what kind of improvement should be made in the current systems. If a bank is spending a few crores of rupees in implementing HR systems, it is worth spending just a few lakhs of rupees to make sure whether the amount that you are spending in terms of HR systems and their implementation is well spent, it is in the right direction, or it can be done better and so on. In fact, I think if you have very competent HR professionals in a bank, they could be trained to conduct an internal HR audit. I would strongly recommend the banks, Indian banks, to train groups of their own HR people to be HR auditors. When they audit each other, or if a HR staff from a particular region or a zone in a bank go and visit the other regions or zones and do a HR audit and give their recommendation to the concerned circle GM or concerned chief general manager or even to the board of management and so on, the board can then consider. There are many advantages in this. The biggest advantage is that you don't depend on consultants. The only reason why you need to depend on consultants is to train a group of in-house team to be able to conduct HR audit. So I would strongly recommend those of you who are from the banking sector to make sure that a good HR audit is conducted, if necessary, by your own internal team. Please train your own managers and make your own organization consultant independent, not consultant dependent. You will be able to save crores and crores of rupees, and you will have phenomenal amount of in-house talent in the field of HR. I would strongly recommend you to read the Khandelwal Committee report, and a general kind of an audit for all banks has already been done by this. There may not be anything great that you are likely to discover, but what you will discover through the HR audit that you will do is your own culture specific, your own bank specific, and given the kind of concerns you have, your own context specific kind of human resource development strategies for the future and so on. So all the best. In case you need any help from any one of us, there are two good books that are available. I think you should read the first and perhaps the only book available on HRD Audit, authored by me, and also a new book which is being heavily used in India as well as in other countries, HRD Scorecard 2500. These are available from Amazon.com, Flipkart.com. All that you need to do is to go to internet, go to Google search and search for HRD Audit Book or HRD Scorecard 2500. It gives 2500 points, and it measures HR systems effectiveness, HR culture effectiveness, intellectual capital building, and HR competencies effectiveness and so on. You can even assess in terms of the 2500 points, how many points that you get for your own kind of an organization. All the best here from those of us who are associated with lifting up the HRD function. Thank you very much.